Right. So are you ready to like really conquer comparatives in Spanish? We're diving into this video from Jaime Lara.
Oh, yeah. Jaime Lara.
He's this native Spanish speaker, and he makes grammar fun and kind of dangerous. You'll see what I mean.
Okay.
But before we really jump in, just like a quick reminder.
Yeah.
Comparatives, they're how we express when things are bigger, smaller.
Right.
Better or worse.
Yeah.
You know, just how we compare things.
Yeah. How we size things up next to each other.
Exactly. And in Spanish,
Uh-huh.
if you want to get past that beginner stage,
Right.
they're essential.
Absolutely.
You have to know them.
Yeah. You really got to have comparatives down if you want to sound fluent.
Yeah.
And what's so interesting about them is that they're not just about the grammar rules. They show us how we think, like how our minds categorize the world.
I like that.
We're always comparing, right? This one's better, this one the same.
Yeah.
And so having that framework in Spanish actually makes the grammar click
Okay.
a lot easier.
So Jaime starts off and he breaks comparatives down into 3 types,
Okay.
which I think is a great way to organize all this.
Yeah.
We have inferiority.
Inferiority.
Which sounds a little harsh for grammar.
Right.
But it just means less than.
Yeah, less than.
Then there's equality when things are the same.
Right.
And finally, superiority, because everybody wants to be superior.
Of course. Who doesn't?
So let's start with inferiority.
Okay.
What is the secret formula in Spanish for saying something is less than something else?
It's really straightforward.
Okay.
You just use menos plus the adjective plus que.
Okay.
So if you wanted to say, like, the green book is less interesting than the red one, you would say, el libro verde es menos interesante que el rojo.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But Jaime, then he throws this little twist in
Okay.
that I love. You don't always have to say the whole thing.
Right.
Like, Spanish is all about efficiency.
Context is key.
Yes.
So if it's obvious what you're comparing, you can just drop that second part.
Okay.
So imagine someone says, tengo 23 euros en el bolsillo.
Okay.
I have 23 euros in my pocket. You could reply, pues yo tengo menos.
Okay.
Well, I have less.
Right.
And everybody knows you're still talking about euros.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
It's like a secret shortcut.
Totally.
I'm starting to see why you called Jaime's teaching style a little dangerous.
A little dangerous.
It's making me rethink everything I thought I knew about Spanish grammar.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll do that.
So we've tackled less than.
Okay.
What about expressing that things are the same?
Okay, so for equality,
Uh-huh.
you've got 2 options that are equally good.
Okay.
You can use tan plus adjective plus como,
Okay.
or igual de plus adjective plus que.
Right.
And they both mean as in English.
Right.
So you could say, José no es tan inteligente como su padre.
Okay.
José isn't as intelligent as his father.
Okay.
Or los trenes no son igual de rápidos que los aviones.
Good.
Trains aren't as fast as planes.
So it's like Spanish is giving you the freedom to choose your own adventure.
It is.
With comparative.
Exactly.
You can pick whatever structure feels more natural in the moment.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's flexible.
But enough with being equal.
Okay.
Let's talk about being better.
All right.
What is the magic formula for comparatives of superiority?
Get ready for more simplicity.
Okay.
For more than for... You just use más plus the adjective plus que.
Okay.
And here's what's great about that.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about those English rules for when to add air or use more. Spanish keeps it nice and consistent.
Wait, so you're saying that no matter what the adjective is, whether it's short, like tall, or long, like intelligent, you always use más.
You always use más.
That's amazing.
I know, right?
But Spanish is giving us a break
Yeah.
from all the complicated grammar rules.
It almost feels too easy.
Yeah.
But don't get too comfortable.
Okay.
Because we're just getting started.
Ooh, cliffhanger. All right, well, we'll be back in just a moment to uncover more secrets of comparatives in Spanish.
More to come.
Don't go anywhere.
Stay tuned.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
I'm already feeling like a comparative pro after that last segment.
That's great.
I feel like I'm más inteligente que before, right?
I love it.
But Jaime always has more tricks up his sleeve.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm ready for the next challenge. What other comparative secrets are hiding in this video?
Well, you might think that we've covered all the basics.
Okay.
But then Jaime, he throws in this fascinating little nugget
Okay.
about irregular comparatives.
Irregulars.
Yes.
I have a love-hate relationship with those.
Yeah,
They're always tricky.
they are.
But they also make language feel more alive.
I agree with that.
So what are the Spanish versions of these, like, rule-breaking words?
Okay, so for better, Instead of saying más bueno, you actually say mejor.
Okay.
And then for worse, malo becomes peor.
Peor, okay.
Similarly, joven, which is young, turns into menor for younger, and viejo, which is old,
becomes mayor.
Okay, I gotta admit, those irregular forms are actually kind of cool.
They are cool, right?
They sound so elegant. Like, Fernando is older than his brother becomes Fernando es mayor que su hermano. It just rolls off the tongue.
It does. And using those correctly is a surefire way to impress your Spanish-speaking friends.
Ooh.
Jaime does mention that you might hear people use más with these words in casual conversation. But knowing the correct forms really shows that you've mastered the nuances of the language.
Yeah, it's like knowing the secret handshake.
Exactly.
So to really drive home the point that something is good, we could say, este sofá azul es mejor que aquel rojo. This blue sofa is better than that red one, using measure instead of más bueno.
Yeah, perfect.
Got it.
You got it.
But what about those times when we want to emphasize just how much better or worse or bigger something is? Does Spanish have a way to really ramp up the intensity?
That's where things get really interesting.
So Jaime points out that you can use comparatives, not just to compare things, but also to intensify the meaning of an adjective.
Oh.
So, for example, instead of simply saying, el café está caliente, coffee is hot, you could say, el café está más que caliente, to emphasize that it's really hot.
Hold on. So adding más que before the adjective is like turning up the volume on the description.
Yeah, exactly. It's a subtle but effective way
I like it.
To add a little more color to your language. And you can use menos que to downplay something as well. So, for example, you could say, no estoy menos que preocupado, which actually means I'm quite worried.
Oh, wait a minute. So menos que can actually intensify the meaning.
It can.
It can.
That's a bit of a mind bender.
Right. It's kind of counterintuitive.
Yeah, it seems like Spanish comparatives have a lot more depth than I originally thought.
They do. They really do.
Wow.
And speaking of depth,
Jaime doesn't just focus on the grammar rules in his video. He also emphasizes the cultural side of language learning. And he even mentions this fantastic language exchange program.
Oh, of language exchange. Tell me more.
That he's organizing in his hometown. And he's inviting viewers to come and immerse themselves in Spanish language and culture.
That sounds like a perfect opportunity to put all this comparative knowledge into practice.
It is. You could chat with locals, you could explore the city, and really experience comparatives in action.
That sounds incredible. I can already picture myself like wandering through a bustling Spanish market. Bargaining for souvenirs. And just effortlessly using comparatives like, este es más barato que el otro.
Exactly.
This one is cheaper than the other one.
Perfect.
Oh, and think of all the delicious food you could compare.
The food, oh my gosh.
La paella es más sabrosa que la tortilla.
Yeah.
The paella is tastier than the tortilla.
I'm getting hungry just thinking about it.
Me too.
Okay.
I'm officially sold.
Right.
But even if we can't all jet off to Spain right now, what's like one key takeaway we can apply to our Spanish learning journey?
Jaime makes this brilliant comparison. He says that learning Spanish is like planting a seed.
I love that.
You nurture it with consistent practice. You water it with exposure to the language. And over time, it grows into something beautiful and fruitful.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
It reminds us that fluency is a process, not a destination.
Exactly.
Each new word, each grammar concept we master, it's like adding another branch to our language tree.
And those irregular forms we talked about, they're like the unique flowers that bloom on that tree, adding a touch of personality and flair.
So before we move on to our final segment, I challenge you, dear listener, to think of other irregular comparatives in your own language.
That's a great challenge.
Do they add the same kind of character as the Spanish ones?
I like that.
We'll be back in a flash to wrap up our comparative deep dive. Welcome back to the final part of our comparative adventure.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling mucho más seguro, way more confident.
I love it.
About using these in my Spanish conversations now.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And, you know, confidence is key when it comes to language learning. Jaime really emphasizes that in his video. He says that even native Spanish speakers sometimes slip up with those irregular forms. The important thing is to keep practicing and not be afraid to make mistakes.
I think that's so reassuring. Because sometimes we get caught up and trying to be perfect. And we forget that language is all about communication.
It did.
Connection. Yeah. Making a few funny blunders along the way.
Exactly. And those blunders often lead to the best learning experiences.
Yes.
Jaime even shares a funny anecdote about a time he accidentally used mas bueno instead of major in front of his grandmother. And she gently corrected him, and he never forgot it. So cute.
So even the experts have their embarrassing moments.
We all do.
It's a good reminder for us all to be kind to ourselves.
Yeah, be kind to yourself.
As we learn.
It's a journey.
But beyond the grammar, Jaime's video also highlights how comparatives, they can really add depth and nuance to our communication.
Absolutely. He makes this great point about how comparatives allow us to express ourselves with more precision and impact. Instead of just saying, this house is big, you could say, esta casa es más grande que un palacio.
Wow.
This house is bigger than a palace, to really emphasize its size.
That definitely paints a more vivid picture.
It does, right.
Yeah, it's like you're not just stating a fact. You're creating an experience for the listener.
Precisely. And that's where the artistry of language comes in. Jaime encourages us to think beyond the literal meaning of words and explore their expressive potential.
So it's not just about getting the grammar right.
Right.
It's about using language creatively to, paint pictures with our words.
You got it.
Wow.
And comparatives are a fantastic tool for doing just that. They allow us to create contrasts, emphasize qualities, and even evoke emotions in our listeners.
This has been such an eye-opening deep dive.
It has been fun.
I feel like I've not only learned the ins and outs of comparatives, but also gained a new appreciation for just the beauty and power of the Spanish language.
Me too. And remember, this is just the beginning of your comparative journey.
Right.
Jaime's video has planted a seed.
Yeah.
Now it's up to you to nurture it.
Okay.
Keep practicing, keep exploring, and keep challenging yourself to express yourself in new and exciting ways.
Great advice. And if you're looking for that extra boost of inspiration, I highly recommend checking out Jaime Lara's language exchange program.
It sounds amazing.
It sounds like an incredible way to immerse yourself in the Spanish language and culture and put all these comparative skills to action.
Absolutely. It's an opportunity to connect with other language enthusiasts.
Yeah.
Share your passion for Spanish and maybe even make some lifelong friends along the way.
Who knows? You might even find yourself saying, esta experiencia es mejor que cualquier otra.
Yeah.
This experience is better than any other.
I love it.
As you sip sangria with new friends under the Spanish sun.
That's the dream.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into comparatives, remember, don't be afraid to experiment, embrace the challenge, and most importantly, have fun with the process.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Until next time, keep those comparatives flowing and keep exploring the amazing world of language learning. Hasta luego.